Hey everybody, it's Josh. This will be the third time I'm trying this video today. Maybe it's just not meant to be. I actually woke up and didn't feel like making anything today. I was like, well, I've been fighting off some sickness. My wife got rear-ended in the car. We got a 2010 CRV, Honda CRV, and we just bought it about a month or so ago, and she already got rear-ended in it, and turns out the lady's uninsured. And then just all these things just trying to keep me down, because that's what it does. It just chips away at you, and darkness loves finding any opportunity to come in and just give you this hopelessness. And I was like, well, at least I'll get a walk in, because that'll make my endorphins and my natural dopamine start pumping, at least make me feel a little bit better. And it worked. Excuse me. I didn't feel great. I still wasn't going to do a video, but I was like, walking along, this little gray bird, about like that big, landed right in front of me. It was the cutest little thing. And it just was like looking at me, and then just hopping from branch to branch on these little vines and sticks that are on the ground. And that just lifted my spirits. I don't think that some people don't know what this hopelessness feels like. And that's why they can't relate to you. I'm sure many of you who have this depression or some kind of mental illness or whatever, you go through, if you don't have it, you go through situational depression. Everybody gets that, because it's literally just part of life, part of your emotions. But they don't understand that you can wake up on a beautiful day like today, and it's beautiful out. I mean, it's perfect weather. Sun is shining. Everything seems right, and you just feel hopeless. And I know many of my friends and many of you watching who have something like bipolar or manic depression, and the list goes on of whatever. You just get pulled into this hopelessness so often, and it's just your brain may take you so high, make you feel like sometimes too high, where you're getting delusional, and you're starting to get the anxiety. And that's when it's really bad, when no matter which way it swings, the highs and the lows, they both just attack you. I know that I get it mildly. I'm sure I have some sort of, I always like to joke that I'm bipolar adjacent, I guess. I used to get these crazy swings, and then I would get this hopelessness where I was just, where nothing mattered, nothing at all. And that is the worst. At least when you have situational depression, at least you feel the agony. And you might say, oh, I don't want to feel that agony. Well, it is better than hopelessness. It is better than feeling like nothing matters at all. You might get that feeling that life is unfair and life is cruel, and it is. It absolutely is. But that hopelessness is the point where you're just like, what's it matter anymore? Why am I even still trying in this life? Why am I still doing this? We're all, especially those who have the mental illness or these problems of these dark feelings, and everybody, like I said, everybody gets them to some extent at some time. We are all in a war. And that war can be fought on so many fronts. And when you don't even know you're in a war, of course you're going to lose. You know, you might say, well, I'll try to do this or that, but, you know, what's the point? You know, you just keep on getting surprised attacked by the demons, the hordes of demons who flood in for any opening. There was no way that I should have been feeling this way today. But I guess I've been, like I said, I've been kind of sick. So I have some mystery illness where I'm just tired. I'm not like stuffed up or throwing up or anything like that. I'm just tired, just drained. And that was just the opening they needed, because they love coming after people with faith, because they're like, let's test this faith and watch them crumble. Watch their faith just crumble to the ground. That's what evil does. Evil is evil. Had intruders, had to move a little bit. But I wanted to, I kind of hit on this yesterday. I did a whole video on mental illness and addiction. And I think if you deal with one of those, please watch it. I've been trying to study this for a long time, but I had no answer I've been trying to help a friend. And I didn't know what to tell him. God was not telling me. God usually guides me. But I did not know what to tell my friend. I'm going to move this way now. I did not know what to do for my friend who was just suffering in so many ways. And that hurt me, because I don't want to see anyone suffer, especially needlessly. There are things we're going to suffer in life, and they're unavoidable. But needlessly is just when you wake up and your brain isn't giving you the right chemicals, or you have felt these delusions or felt so out of place in this world that you start doing drugs and alcohol, and then you just start, medicating yourself with that. And that is another front in the war, because you're inviting more and more hordes of the demon army in, more and more troops, the war you don't even know you're fighting. And I understand that so many of you feel out of place. My goodness, I felt so out of place my entire life. I was an alien trying to pretend at being human. And I kept sensing God. I sensed God 4 times in my life before my rebirth, before I was completely reborn. And each time it was such compassion and such love, but he never gave me direction, so I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. So as warm and as great as that felt, and it did fuel me for so long, and it fueled me in times when I didn't even understand it. But I was like, why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you just tell me what to do then? He told me you were not seeking me. You were not seeking me in the right ways. And you need to be trained to do what you're going to do. And it's true. I was told and shown, and grateful to do it, that I am sort of a spiritual search and rescue, like a park ranger, going out I had to go through my hell, and I had to live everything within that hell and be beaten in so many different ways and lose so many battles. So I was battle ready. Because, I know I've used this analogy before, but let's say you're a park ranger in some park in Alaska. Let's say somebody is lost in this huge wilderness in Alaska. And there's grizzlies and there's, I think there's mountain lions up there and all kinds of predators up there. And the weather is sub-zero most of the time. And you go strolling out there looking for these people as a park ranger, and you have no experience dealing with any of that stuff. You don't know how to deal with predators. You don't know how to deal with the climate. You don't know how to deal with any of that. What's going to happen? Most likely, you're going to be lost too. Unless you're with somebody who's trained to do it. But I know that you're hurting out there. And I know how it feels to feel like you are an alien playing at being human. I know it. And you just look at the people around you and you try to do what they do a little bit, but you still want to do your own thing, and you want to be unique, but you still want to fit in, and there's so many weird things. Oh, man, being a teenager is just it's just insane. I had so much fun as a teenager, but I was such a strange-minded kid. And I really had that strange mind up until my adult days. I just learned how to be normal, or as close to normal as I could get. I learned what to do, how to act. Never tell anybody that you're kind of feeling like that animal was saying something to me. What was it saying? Animal was telling me, I could feel its feelings. Strange things like that. Strange things that you might channel. Because who knows what your brain is already is already picking up frequencies from your soul. Because your soul is basically sitting in here while your body just plays this video game we call life. And this is like the avatar we're in. These bodies are not who we are. But our soul can't do much. Just like, now God can do whatever he wants to do. But God has certain limits, it seems like, that he set on himself. And until you kind of reach a certain level in that game or figure certain things out in this game, he's not going to be able to lift a finger for you, except for maybe to nudge you one way or another, like just give you a sign and hope you see it. I don't know how it works, but we pick up frequencies from something unknown. There's too many things that are unknown, and maybe there are interdimensional aliens or who knows what. I love thinking about it. Don't get me wrong. I loved remember the Ancient Aliens and just weird conspiracies like that, like how an ancient civilization built all the ancient structures that and then they either left the planet or were all killed in the Great Flood during the Younger Dryas period. And I could go on for hours and hours with somebody about this because I love it. I love thinking about it. And I do think there was something crazy going on back in the day when really most of the mythologies and old religions, the polytheistic religions, and even the Bible was written. I think that was some higher race. I don't know if it was humans, advanced humans, or I don't know if it was aliens. I don't know what it was. I have no idea. Maybe it was angels and demons. actual angels and demons from the spirit realm or wherever. I don't know. I love thinking about it and trying to piece it together, but I know I'm never going to probably know that stuff until maybe after I die, and then it'll all be revealed. But I really do think the Old Testament is kind of like that. Just like, let's say, what is it, Isaiah or something, that there's supposed to be talking about a UFO that comes down. It's like perfectly describing a UFO, a spaceship. But who knows what was happening back before recorded history, and when really man was just hunter-gatherers and had no concept of anything. You could show up now with your iPhone or your cell phone and just show them a picture, and they would think you're a god, because they were trying so hard, because for some reason humans, and it seems like only humans, have this desire to know God. If we were here for no meaning, if the atheists are right, if there was all for nothing, then basically it'd be pointless to have this desire to understand God, to know and be closer to God. There would be no reason for it at all. Because, I mean, why would random... Maybe it's part of the evolution of our brains. Maybe at some point around, 8, 9, 10,000 years ago, we started developing this thing in our brains because God wanted us to be closer to Him. But there would be no other reason to develop this need to understand God and our Creator and everything, because that does not do one bit of good for our evolution, our survival. Is just in animal terms I'm talking about. Who cares about? I mean, it doesn't do anything to help us survive. In fact, it actually would probably hinder our survival if there was no God and our brains were trying to figure out who our Creator is and everything like that. The whole atheist thing doesn't make sense to me, but I get it. I mean, people they're not going to believe anything that they can't physically see. It's just the way of the world. It's the way it goes. But without them, who would challenge us? Everything needs challenged. Every idea needs challenged. Even the ones that you're totally sure of, they need challenged. And because if they can't stand up to any kind of scrutiny, then what good are they? They're not worth having. I really do think that, I'm going to start walking here a little bit. I really do think that in this battle, in this war that we're fighting on multiple fronts, you have to give yourself a fighting chance. So in days when you wake up like I did today and you feel hopeless, and not many of you were like me to where you've already found purpose in life and faith in God and all these things that keep me going even when I get that feeling. Not many of you maybe even believe in God. Or you do, but you just are like, well, that's just a weird concept that I'm sure something created us, but it probably just doesn't have any desire to intervene in my life. So when that all compounds with that hopeless feeling. because that's what the demons and the evilness and the darkness want you to feel. They want you to feel the more hopeless you are, the less fight you're going to give. It's the days you feel hopeless and the days you feel like nothing matters is the days you have to push yourself extra hard. Say, well, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to go walk on this beautiful day by this beautiful river, get the sunshine on me, get the bugs on me. Sorry, I'm moving around a lot. I got bugs. The biters are out already. But you get out here, or you do whatever your exercise is, and you do whatever makes you get your endorphins going. And you take your mind off of it. If it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. If that's the truth, if that's just your brain telling you the truth, nothing matters, then it doesn't matter if you go take a walk then. Why wouldn't you? What do you have to lose? You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. That's why I tell people to seek God. So if you don't find him, or if you find that you just can't believe, or you can't find your faith, or you can't get these signs from God or understand any of it, you've wasted a little bit of time in a life that you already think is meaningless anyway. So why not try it? And why not give it a shot and keep going? If nothing else, your life matters to so many people that you might not even realize. You probably have so many people that even if you have no friends, no family that care about you, nothing, your life is still precious. And you are here for a reason, and you owe it to yourself to find that reason. You owe it to yourself to at least try. Because if you seek God, you will find him. You will. You might not find what you want to find. You might not be ready to find him completely, but you will find some sort of meaning at the beginning of your spiritual journey. And you'll find that the more you go exercise and the more you go start eating healthier and cut back on all the drugs and alcohol, and then try to stop, and if you just do this stuff, you'll see a whole new world open up. I didn't know, because I had gone through, okay, there was times in my life where I felt just amazing, in great shape and doing great and everything, but I could not maintain that because my resting weight is like 275, 280. So it's like I'm just built like a big fat idiot. My brain is not too smart. I'm not good looking. I got all these things going against me. But I found, when I started exercising, when I just pushed myself, I found myself. I didn't find a deeper part of myself. I found that I could accomplish things when I put my mind to it. And I found that I wasn't a loser like I thought I was, that I could lose 130 pounds in a couple, 6 months, and I could, start having girls start looking at me and being attracted to me. And I found that I was so much happier. Now for me, when I got in that great shape, which thankfully it wasn't sustainable, because I was starting to turn into a person I didn't want to be. Starting to be an ass to people, to girls. I didn't want to ever hurt a girl's feelings. I was too nice. But then I learned to be, there's these girls that just didn't want a thing to do with me. And then all of a sudden, when I was good looking or in shape, then they thought, oh, I've been in love with you all these years and I just didn't realize it till now. Oh, really? Okay. But that's, I think, when I started seeing in my life, because that was about 2021, I started seeing the darker side of human nature, even when I was feeling the best in my life. Because I saw how materialistic and how shallow people are. And I didn't want to be that person. I really didn't. And that just kind of made me it took a long, long time, like over a decade, right after I had my back surgeries and everything, to where I was just getting spiteful then. I was like, I already seen how shallow and how petty people are, and I just don't want to deal with people because they are just awful, evil people. But you see that because that's what is presented to you from your mindset. But then you see something like right after the hurricanes, how, people from all over the country would go and rebuild people's houses. And I saw my dad go down to New Orleans and rebuild houses for Habitats for Humanity. And these people were mainly in the churches. These people are the ones who aren't out there making a scene because they don't want to. They don't want to be seen by everybody. They're not out there loud and say, look at me. I'm going to be famous. All those people, so many people that are famous are because you have to be just stuck up. You have to be like selfish. You have to be so many of these things to kind of get into Hollywood or get into politics or get into anything where you're in the spotlight, it seems like. How often do you see like, oh, that's the nicest guy I see. He's out there, look, that guy's amazing. There's nothing really wrong with him. There's no drama, so there's nothing really interesting there. No, those people are staying put. That's why you don't hear about them, and all you see is the bad things in life. All you hear about are the bad people in life. And then you start thinking all of life and all the people are like that. Don't let your mind give into that pettiness, because you will become one of them. You say, why not? I'll just be like that because that seems like everybody else is like that. Why shouldn't I be? What good does it have? You lose your humanity. You lose your care. You don't care if these people live or die anymore. You don't care if you laugh when they get hurt sometimes. Haha. That stupid person out there, like, he's out there rioting or something and he gets killed and you laugh about it. And you just become the person that you started looking at to hate life. Find the beauty. It's hidden sometimes. It's in nature. It's in a lot of people around. But you got to work at it and you got to fight this battle. It's too important not to. As I said, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Well, I went way too long today when I was going to not even do a video, but I always appreciate you guys. Today was kind of just more like a therapy day, I guess. All right, God bless.